Hello everyone, welcome to Encryption, the tech tips and tutorial channel. In this video, you will learn how to configure passwordless SSH login or key-based SSH authentication in Linux. In the previous video, we learned how to log in to a remote host using SSH. In that video, we saw that login to a remote server using SSH required a password. But in this video, we are going to configure the key-based authentication so that we will not be asked to enter the login password while doing SSH to the remote server. You may be afraid that if the user on the remote host doesn't ask for a password, it's very insecure and anyone can log in and do whatever they like on the server. That's not true, however. After configuring the key-based authentication, only the host that has the private key can log into the remote server. While performing passwordless or key-based SSH authentication, there will be a key exchange between the remote host and the local host or your PC. We will generate the private and public keys on the local host. Then we will send the public key to the remote host. But the private key must be kept secret because if an attacker gets the key, he can log into the server without a password. To sum up, key-based SSH authentication requires the exchange of keys between the source and the destination hosts. With that brief theoretical information, I hope you have known a little bit about how key-based SSH authentication actually works. Now let's move on and learn it practically. This is my local host. If I do SSH to a remote VPS that is hosted on the Contabo data center, it asks for a password. I want it not to ask password every time I want to log into the server from this PC because I have configured a strong password that I can't remember and I need to log in and log out several times a day. So in this case, we may want to configure the passwordless SSH or key-based SSH authentication. The first step of configuring the key-based SSH authentication is to generate SSH keys, private and public, on the local host. So let's change the current working directory to //.ssh, which is the same directory structure as /home/.ssh. If I list the contents of the current directory, I don't see any public or private key here. But in your case, if you already have the key with the name something like ID_RSA or so, you can use that, or you can generate a new key with a different name. Since no keys are currently available on my local system, I'm going to generate the key pair, public and private. For this, we use the ssh-keygen command. So type the command and hit enter. Next, you will be asked to give a name to the file where the keys will be stored. You can type any name of your choice or just hit enter to set the default name, which is ID_RSA. Then you will be asked to enter the passphrase. We are not going to enter anything here as we don't want to ask password of the user in the remote host when we want to log into it. So just hit enter and again hit enter. The key is now generated and is stored on the location as displayed on the screen. Now if I do ls-al, we can see the two new files, ID_RSA and ID_RSA.pub, on which ID_RSA is the private key and ID_RSA.pub is the public key. The next step of configuring the key-based SSH authentication is to copy the public key of the local system to the remote system. But before that, in a new tab of the terminal, let's log into the remote server and see if there is anything on the //.ssh directory. We don't see anything here. We'll come back and check if anything will be added here after we copy the public key ID. Let's go to the localhosts tab and type ssh-copy-id space username at IP or hostname and hit enter. Then enter the password of the user and hit enter. For your information, the password will not be visible as you type. Okay, the key is added to the remote system now. Let's check on the remote system. Here we can see a new file named authorized_keys is generated. If you do cat and the file name, you will see the key in an encrypted form. That's all. We are done with the process of configuring a passwordless or key-based SSH authentication. Let's verify by running the command SSH space username at IP or hostname of the remote server. This time we are not asked for the password. That means we can log into the remote system via SSH and without the password. To log out of the remote system, you can use the shortcut Ctrl+D. Finally, let's also learn how to remove the passwordless SSH login or key-based SSH authentication. For that, the one way is we can delete the file authorized_keys on the remote system, or we can simply remove only the key from the file authorized_keys if it also contains keys of another systems which are still required. To delete the key of a specific system or host, open the file with a text editor such as vi. Take the cursor to the line of the key and press DD. Pressing D twice removes the line. Again press escape key and type :x and hit enter to exit from the file. Now the local host requires a password to log into the remote server as we have removed the key. To verify, go back to the local system and run the SSH command with the username at IP address or the host name. This time, as you can see, SSH login requires the password. Okay friends, this is how we can configure the passwordless SSH login or key-based SSH login in a Linux machine. I hope the video was useful to you. Please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. Thanks for watching this video. See you on the other videos. Till then, have a nice time. Goodbye.